Hi, I'm Kenty Can. The first ever Toronto Curry Awards is happening on Tuesday, June 26th at the Holiday Inn, Toronto Airport. This glittering affair promises to be an evening of glamour, great entertainment, and fabulous food, while honoring the best curry restaurants in 6 distinct categories. On today's show, we meet 3 of the outstanding chefs who are part of the panel of judges with the deliciously difficult task of determining the winners. They are Chefs Harminder and Chef Harminder Magon and Chef Siva Swaminathan. We'll try to find out about the process of selecting the delectable dishes and eventual winners. We'll also meet on today's show Romail Gulzar, who is the founder of the Toronto Curry Awards, the first ever here in the city, and his entrepreneurial vision has brought the Toronto Curry Awards to this city. Chef Siva and Chef Harminder, welcome to our show. We're glad you're here to talk about the Toronto Curry Awards.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. It's an honor to be
Now,
part of
are
it.
you guys as excited as I understand the whole city and the GTA is about the Toronto Curry Awards?
Can you believe it?
I am just eager to get there. I mean, it seems to be on the lips now of everyone. It's
Right.
close. It's June 26th. We're just over a week or so away, and the excitement has been building.
Right.
How do you guys, how do you feel as chefs being in the business of food and people and restaurant? How do you feel about the Toronto Curry Awards, the first ever coming to the city?
Well, when I had spoken to Romail, I was just shocked that Toronto hadn't had a curry award before. I mean, this is shocking because we have such a large diaspora of South Asian community here, and it's exciting to have this event happening in Toronto. It's going to be the first one, so the gates are going to open, you know?
Your thoughts, Chef Harminder?
I think it's about time to get something like that because, again, as she said, the population is increasing. There are lots of new good restaurants coming, and there should be some recognition for people who are putting the hard work behind these kind of projects. And we really thank Pukar and Gulzar Romail for bringing this to Toronto.
You know, we also have to remind ourselves and remind our viewers too that this is not just coming to taste curry here in June 26th and see which curry. We have selected the winners in all these different categories, and it's a gala affair, so we've got to dress up and come and really have a wonderful time. Great fun, great entertainment, great food, atmosphere.
It's going to kind of actually accent all the senses because, you know, food is incredibly comforting and, you know, curry is, you know, incredibly, you know, melange of spices and things coming together in the South Asian cuisine. But that night is going to be a huge affair of everything coming together, and it's going to be an awesome event.
Now, you guys have helped with the judging. We'll also meet Chef Harminder Magon afterwards, and we want to make everybody aware that there's a 4th judge, a member of the panel,
Yes.
Judge Smita Chandra,
Yes.
very, very popular chef and an author, and everybody knows Judge Smita Chandra, and unfortunately she couldn't be with us
Yes.
here today, but she has been an important member of the panel of judges as
Yes,
well.
of course.
Absolutely.
Judging the Curry Awards, the first ever, I mean, it's very special for you guys as well. It's the first ever. You can always say, I was one of the judges. Tell us a little bit about your you know, what you've done in the culinary arts. We know, of course, Shea Siva Coaching School. You do a lot of teaching there, and you've got your own little niche. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you know, I was an IT professional, and that really didn't delight me. And, you know, my passion has always been cooking. So I went to culinary school and trained in Europe, and I worked for a couple of restaurants. One has a Michelin star. You know, life took a different turn, you know, diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. But food has always been my passion. So it's to teach our community how to eat sensibly but healthily, you know. So this is what I do, is the passion is still there, but cooking, you know, heart healthy food. So that's kind of great for other chronic diseases.
So you do a lot of teaching.
Yes.
Heart healthy food, diabetics can really appreciate it because they want tasty food, but everybody can eat the food. I mean, we all need to eat good and eat healthily as well.
Absolutely.
Chef Harminder, you're actually in the food business in terms of having a restaurant. We are familiar with Coriander Green.
Yes.
One of your first restaurants, and you also have another restaurant in the family. So tell us a little bit about your work in the food industry.
So basically, we started that restaurant in 2005 in downtown Oakville called Coriander Green. Before that, I took training in French cooking, and over the time I have gone to different schools and I have done lots of private cooking classes as well. And we also cater lots of events and galas in the community. And it's always been my passion. And I'm so honored that I'm part of this award night. And that's should be it. Yeah.
As we do this, it's possible that some of our viewers, patrons of your two restaurants are looking at you and saying, "Oh, this is the gentleman behind all that fabulous food." They don't know. They go to the restaurant, they have great food, and now they're putting a face to that.
We've been very, very fortunate. We have a very good, clientele for the last 13 years. People are very supportive. They like our work, and they recognize what we do. So in that way, we are extremely lucky.
And Chef Siva, you're also very, very well known, especially because of the niche that you have. I mean, heart-healthy food, and people know you. Are we beginning to eat better and healthier?
I think so. I think that we have come a long way, but still, South Asian cooking, Indian cooking is incredibly diverse and it's complex, and so why not have the healthy twist to it? And I think most of you'll see it all in the restaurants. They're reducing, the oil and the salt, but the flavor is still there because, that's end of the day, the food has to be authentic. And that's what everybody wants to appreciate, right? I mean, it doesn't matter, whether it's heart healthy or diabetes, but it's got to be authentic. Otherwise, people won't change their habit,
No,
right?
they won't.
So it has to be,
tasty.
absolutely. We eat it with our senses, right?
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, we certainly do. Before we take a short break, tell me, give me a sense of what it meant to each of you to be a member of the panel of judges, making decisions into the Toronto, the best curry in Toronto with the Toronto Curry Awards, the first ever.
Well, we have set of rules, even, whether it is, it is Toronto Curry Awards, but there are standards. I mean, I think you know that across, the world and restaurants in Europe, certain restaurants need to be accountable. So which means that there's a criteria for judging. So not only in terms of the taste and flavor, but there are other criteria in terms of, how they, people are received and how the place looks, and in terms of cleanliness and how is the kitchen. So there's a lot of different criteria, and they have to be also part of the total.
I want to get into that in a little bit more detail after the break, but just before we do that, Chef Harminder, how does it feel? You're on the other end here right now, because you own a couple of restaurants.
Yes.
People are always judging your food.
Of course.
Right?
Yep,
And
that's right.
now you get a chance to judge somebody else's food. How does that feel?
Exactly. You know what? It's always good to have some constructive criticism from customers or people who they support you, love you. So, this has given me an opportunity to actually go explore other restaurants and, see their food, their service. And also in back of my head, I know as a restaurateur that the problems restaurants go through and why their service is not as par, or food is not as par, or how you deal with their rush hour. So with my expertise, I can see and sense,
Yes.
What's the level of the, restaurant and what kind of service they are providing.
Well, we need to take a short break now. When I come back, I want you to address your mind to how you go about making these selections. How did all this come out? Because as I understand it, the winners have been selected already. Nobody knows, but that's what happened. So I want you to tell me a little bit about what went into that. Please stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break. We're talking about the first ever Curry Awards here in Toronto. And my guests are Chefs Harminder and Chef Siva Swaminathan. Later on in the show, we'll be chatting with Chef Harminder Magon and the founder of the Toronto Curry Awards, Romail Gulzar. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's all about food today. Delicious, delicious food. It's the Toronto Curry Awards, and it's happening June the 26th at the Holiday Inn Toronto Airport. And my guests are Chefs Harminder and Chef Siva Swaminathan. And later on, we'll be chatting with Chef Harminder Magon and Romail Gulzar, the founder of the Toronto Curry Awards. Well, we've got a sense of where you come from in terms of judging all of this, and we know you are outstanding chefs. You have served and continue to serve your apprenticeship in this business. Tell us a little bit about the process. What has gone into judging? But before I do that, what are the categories? You had to judge in a number of categories. It's not just the best curry in the whole world,
Right.
or the best curry in Toronto. We've got
Exactly.
specific categories. Tell me about the categories you have to judge in, first of all.
Well, do you want to?
Sure. So basically, all the restaurants are different, but they all cook curries. So they have categorized into 6 different categories. One is the takeaway restaurant. So what's the best and popular takeaway
Takeout,
restaurant
yes.
that serves, Asian food? And then there is a new restaurant, right?
Best new restaurant,
Best new
yes,
restaurant.
yes.
And then there is a family restaurant.
Family restaurant, yes.
And then I think we have also the
Fine-
best fine dining.
Fine dining,
Fine
fine dining.
Of course, and also we have overall.
The
Restaurant of the year.
Restaurant
The
of the year,
restaurant
and
of the
we
year.
have a new category in terms of family restaurant. Yeah,
Now that one intrigues me.
yeah.
How do you get to the best restaurant of the restaurant of the year after you've done all of these?
Yes.
But we don't need to go into each one of these.
Yeah.
Just want to know, how did you get to these restaurants? I mean, how is it that you were able to say, oh, well, I'm going to check the curry in this restaurant, this family restaurant, or this fine? How did you get to this, and what did you look for?
Well, the nomination's been happening before the judges have
Before
actually
now,
started.
okay.
So people have been nominating restaurants, and so the data has been collecting. So we kind of been looking at the producers of the show, like Ramel and his team, have been looking at it in terms of the nomination and so then they're shortlisted. And then they are shortlisted again. So the number is reduced, and then eventually will have to pick shortlist
Well, how
the
do
numbers.
they get to the short list, though? Does somebody check before?
Yes, this is
Yeah.
like online voting, going on.
Online, so
Yes.
so customers,
Voting process.
patrons get the, I
Yeah.
see.
Right. Yeah. So customers are supportive. They are supporting them. They are liking them, and that's how Toronto Curry Award has picked up those few.
So there's a lot of online voting and
Absolutely,
stuff happening here.
absolutely. So the team has been working background in terms of selecting those that restaurants have been nominated to shortlist them, because the nominations have been pouring for the past few months. So you have to eventually get.
What do you look for then? Best taste, best look, best presentation? Tell me.
So basically, when you walk in the restaurant, obviously, restaurant business is to please your senses. So when you go in, if you are picking up takeaway food, the service has to be there. Obviously, it has to be clean, and food has to taste good. So it's very simple for a takeaway restaurant. But when you go to a dine-in restaurant or a fine dining restaurant, then from the door staff till the service and the plating of the food and the flavors of the food and the variety of the menu, I think that is very important to have.
variety, yes.
Yeah. So that's what we look for.
Yes, and then of course, in terms of safety of food, kitchen safety. So you have to always look for like Dine Safe, for example. So a lot of restaurants, in terms of, they would have to have a display.
So it's not only taste, you just don't go and eat the food.
No, because
Ah.
food, at the end of the day, is, I mean, it's wonderful, but you have to make sure that the restaurants are following these guidelines for
Exactly.
Toronto and for Ontario. So Dine
Seems
Safe
to me
is
you look
very
at this
important.
holistically.
Absolutely.
Of
course, yes.
Not just the food.
It's the whole package, because at the end of the day, whether you're doing takeout or having fine dining, it has to result in not just only in the food, but it's the whole package in terms of
and
how.
so you've gone in yourself into the restaurants after the short list, and then the short lists have been made, and,
Yes.
and you sit unannounced.
Well, we have to drop in totally anonymously, and and order.
And you
food.
take a little file folder, and you make some ticks. with
Actually,
it.
you have to take some
We
mental
have to
notes.
keep
You
it
don't want
in
to
our
pull your
hand,
notebook
of course.
out.
But
They might think
the-
you're.
Oh yes, because if you do that, they'll okay, that's
Yeah.
right.
They have given us a list we need to check, and then
And do you go to the same restaurants, or you do
We
separate?
might have overlapped
Oh,
you.
you
I
might
think
have.
there
Yes.
have been the other two chefs as well.
Yes.
So we've all had a short list of restaurants to check out, and we check them out at various times in terms of traffic, how they are,
Right.
and sometimes kitchens just have bad days. So you
So-
never
so
know.
They judge on locations as well. All that comes into play.
Well, not necessarily the location, but definitely you want to know there's signage so that you can go and find it and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's about an experience. If somebody's going to go, and you want to make sure that everything is clear and it's not falling apart or it's not dirty, all of that kind of stuff.
How should a great curry taste as opposed to a good curry?
You're going to definitely, it's the senses, right? The aroma, the look. And you want to make sure it's not swimming in, oil, and then there's the taste. The taste has to really hit you.
And I think the meat, if it's a non-veg curry, has to be tender, lean, very clean, and the spice level has to be right.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be overpowering or over hot.
Absolutely.
Because everybody here likes to enjoy the spice, but not necessarily that heat.
How do you account for curries from different regions. Chinese food, I know you got Manchurian and that kind of stuff. How do you account for different regional differences?
Could I say I think all of us, being a cook, being in this job and training for years, you might do French cooking or whatever, but at the end of the day, we are South Asian inside. We know what curry tastes like, and you know it when you taste an authentic, butter chicken or chicken tikka masala or sambar, how it's supposed to taste.
So did all the judges, you had the same criteria to take off?
Absolutely,
Taste,
you have to be critical.
smell, presentation.
Of course, and then it's more of our own experiences we had and our own senses, what pleases us better. Again, curry doesn't have to be combination of lots of spices, could be simple but tasty. So, there is lots of variations, and when you go to a restaurant, you see that the way they're serving you, that is very important.
But look at us too, our background, we're completely from different background, but we know each other's food, and so when we taste it, we know what each food is supposed to take. I mean, there could be a little off, but end of the day, you know what the curry is supposed to taste like.
You guys just love to talk about food. I can see the passion here. I'm passionate about eating. But on that note, we have to take another break, and then after this break, we'll be back with Chef Harminder Magon and the founder of the Toronto Curry Awards, Romail Gulzar. I want to thank Chef Siva Swaminathan and Chef Harminder for taking the time to chat with us a little bit about trying to understand how you have gone about selecting the winners in the different categories for the Toronto Curry Awards. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Please stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. We're talking about the Toronto Curry Awards, the first ever Toronto Curry Awards that's happening on June the 26th at the Holiday Inn in the Toronto Airport. And my guests are Chef Harminder Magon and the founder of the Toronto Curry Awards, Romail Gulzar. Now, Chef Harminder Magon, you're a chef, an author, a world traveler, a celebrity chef. You've got a whole lot of careers combined into all of this, but it's good to have you on the show, sir.
My pleasure.
Romail, good to see you again, sir. The first ever Toronto Curry Awards, bringing them here to our fair city. Let's have a word. Now, we've learned previously on the previous segment from Chef Siva and Chef Harminder, your namesake, about the process of judging the awards. Tell me about the experience you've had in judging this.
It was an amazing experience that I had. And I think the credit goes to Romail because his team had set up a criteria for us to go into the restaurants and certain items that we had to look at in terms to determine what makes a good restaurant, not just because of the curry, but the other factors, like the other guests had mentioned. You have to look at how the cleanliness is, how they greet you, how they make you comfortable, and how well are the chefs, or not the chefs, the waiters aware of what the menu has to offer and how wide the menu is. And also, they should know what the menu is offering and make some suggestions. And these kinds of things were the total package that made us very comfortable in terms of determining that how good a restaurant is or how far it doesn't come to par in terms of fine dining or takeaway or whatever the case may have been.
You've never done anything like this before, have you?
I have done lots of judging for school kids.
For school,
where
yes.
They've had baking competitions and so forth. But this kind of elaborate judging has been a first-time experience.
You know, chefs must have a passion for food. I mean, we all have passion for eating food, but chefs have a passion for food. Where does your interest in food lie? Is it an eclectic love, or is it for desserts, or where is your passion lie?
It is eclectic.
It is.
Yeah, and my mother comes from Thailand, so she brings a lot of Thai cuisine into our Desi cuisine. My daughter-in-law is Japanese, so she brings a lot of Japanese influence into our kitchen.
I see.
So I I try to cook everything.
Your book, My Epicurean Journey, a collection of recipes, encompasses all of this.
It does. It does.
Romail, let's switch over to you now. We've had a chat about this already, my friend. Why the Toronto Curry Awards? Why bring this? Why are we importing this from Leicestershire in England? You've been very successful there. Why is the time right in Toronto for the Toronto Curry Awards?
Again, you mentioned a few weeks back when I'm on one of your show, bringing all the South Asian restaurants together. When come to word Indian curry, people think curry just come from India. Curry is from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Sri Lanka, all South Asians curry to bring in one platform and recognize their hard work. Either they're working in a very hard behind the kitchen or the front staff, and give them a nice night, come into the great outfit and just enjoy on the red carpet and have a few selfie and recognize the lifting of that trophy and the runner-ups. That's the main thing. And also, Toronto and whole in GTA, and whole in Canada is very multicultural, multi-ethnic, but I think so Toronto have set the scene in the world, like in Leicester and back home in England, is no different. It's very tolerant, people living together and supporting each other. And I'm going to mention back again, South Asian culture, especially what you're going to call Indian curry, is not our curry, is our culture. And I believe that's the right time to make as much as we as hail, we live together and we eat together and we share together.
I want to also emphasize for all our viewers that, again, this is a big gala. This is like going to the Academy Awards or any major awards like that. The winners have been taken care of. We know who they are. We need people to come out and share this experience. Coming to the Toronto Curry Awards, it's a major experience. It's not just coming and having a great food, which you'll have. And on that note, I want you to tell me, the food's coming from, it's a very special menu, special preparation. Tell me about that.
Yes, a big thank you.
This is the food, not that we're judging, but the food that we're going to be having at the Toronto Curry Awards. Yes.
Yeah. On the award night, big thank you to Holiday Inn International Airport. A chef is working hard, and they created a special menu for first ever Toronto Curry Awards. The chefs come from India, and they're already working there, not especially come for this event, but they're already working there, and they're putting extra mileage to make sure this is a Curry Awards, and curry have to be on spot on. And I hope our guests will enjoy, and including all the restaurants and takeouts taking part, and of course our judging panels, lovely 4 judging panels. But that day they have many duties. They don't need to judge that night, but they've done their hard work. So we are looking forward to that.
But it's great food. There's entertainment as well. And fabulous dinner, entertainment, just atmosphere, networking. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful evening at the Toronto Curry Awards. Final word from you, Chef Harminder, why we need to come out to the Toronto Curry Awards on June the 26th.
I think this being the first ever Curry Awards in Toronto, it's very important that we come out in full forces and come and enjoy the food that's going to be served, and come and honor the restaurants that have been chosen as the winners. Based on the success of what happens here in Toronto, we would like to see this happen in Vancouver and maybe in Montreal, or even in the nation's capital, in Ottawa, where I come from. So I have a vested interest to make sure that Curry Awards continue to happen in Canada.
It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful evening. So on that note, let me close off by saying, I want to thank all my guests today who've appeared on the program, Chefs Harminder and Chef Harminder Magon and Chef Siva Swaminathan. We hope to see everybody there at the first ever Toronto Curry Awards, June 26th at the Holiday Inn Toronto Airport. For the Asian Television Network, I'm Kenty Khan.